For example, I used to think my family would always protect me, but this one time they didn't. And here's why. Then after the first 30 seconds or so, maybe pause and go. I never thought anything like this could happen until this one time when this thing occurred, and it really shocked me. But stick around, because I'll share why in the end it was actually a good thing. Here's what happened. So you've got like 3 sentences just teasing what's coming up. You're not giving the big twist, which is going to be at the end. Okay, welcome to story time. Let's do some story time together. I am your host, and it's my job to help you tell stories that make a difference. Every week we cover storytelling tips, talk about story structure, and hear amazing listener stories, all in an effort to help you become a better storyteller. Today we're covering the best way to structure your personal story so it has maximum impact. This is the formula I use to craft impactful stories. In fact, every episode of Storytime follows this structure, and it has been downloaded over 50,000 times by people from all over the world who want to tell better stories. Before we dive into the formula, let me set the scene just a little bit. Imagine it's Saturday morning. You're in your favorite coffee shop. There's a warm beverage in front of you. You're surrounded by friends, or perhaps you're alone. It's a cozy, intimate setting. Now close your eyes and imagine you have a story to tell. How would you tell it? That's the essence of story time. Now open your eyes. Let's get started. Step No. 1. The hook. Start with something that pulls your audience right into the story. Open with an intriguing question. For instance, have you ever experienced something that completely shifted your perspective on life? Immediately your listeners are hooked. They want to know what you've discovered. Start with an unexpected statement. The day I realized the world wasn't fair was the day I grew up. Here you've introduced an idea that might surprise many and leave your audience pondering when exactly this revelation dawned on you. Or begin with a hint of mystery. There's this one moment I can still remember vividly. To this day, it haunts my dreams. This kind of opening creates curiosity and invites your audience to lean in closer. Next, add a brief tease of what's to come. Without revealing too much, give a hint at the upcoming twist or insight. And when I reflect on that day, I realize it was more than just a childhood experience. It was a turning point in my life. This sets the stage for a deeper meaning that will unfold later in the story. Step 2. Context and setup. Now that you've grabbed their attention, it's time to paint the backdrop of your story. Who were you before this life-changing event? What was your belief system, your worldview, your situation, or mindset? Provide just enough context for the audience to understand and care about the character you once were. For example, you might say, growing up, I had always felt incredibly loved and supported by my family. We were tight-knit, and I never had a worry in the world. I truly believed that nothing could hurt me because I had them. By establishing this sense of security, you're highlighting the significance of the event that's about to shatter it. Remember, you don't have to go into great detail at this stage. You're just planting the seeds for understanding. Step 3. The event, or encounter, or turning point. Now it's time to dive into the heart of your story. Tell us what happened. Who was involved? Where were you? Bring your audience right into the moment. What did it look like? Sound like? Smell like? Use vivid language to paint a picture in their minds. What were you feeling? Were you hopeful, scared, doubtful? Show them the sights, sounds, and emotions of this pivotal moment. If you're telling the story of your first love, describe the butterflies in your stomach, the stolen glances across the classroom, and the awkward first date. If you're sharing a story of loss, depict the empty swing at the playground, the quiet corner of the house where they used to read bedtime stories, and the lingering scent of their favorite perfume. Step 4. The shift. This is where you reveal the inner workings of your mind. How did this encounter challenge or shatter your previous perspective? How did it make you feel? Maybe confused, betrayed, disappointed, perhaps there was a moment of silence or understanding. Did it bring you pain, clarity, growth, change? Here's an example. But then suddenly everything changed. I was met with betrayal when someone I trusted broke my confidence. In that moment, I felt a deep sense of violation and hurt. It was as though a part of me had been ripped away. The world I once thought was filled with kindness and honesty seemed to crumble before my eyes. Notice how the speaker uses figurative language, like ripped away and crumbled, to emphasize the intensity of their feelings. Step 5. Reflection and takeaway. Now it's time to tie it all together. Reflect on what you've just shared. How did this story change how you see the world? What did you learn about yourself, others, or the world? What would you do differently now? What advice would you give to others in a similar situation? Share the wisdom you gained from this experience. For instance, looking back, I realized that pain was the catalyst for my growth. It forced me to confront my vulnerabilities and become stronger. I learned that while the world may not always be fair, it's up to us to create our own happiness and stand up for what we believe in. Even though the pain of betrayal will always be a part of my story, it also became the defining moment that shaped who I am today. And finally, here's a bonus step to leave your audience inspired. End with a call to action. Ask them a thought-provoking question that encourages them to reflect on their own lives. Has a story ever changed how you see the world? By doing so, you invite your audience to become active participants in your story, fostering a deeper connection with them. You've now mastered the art of crafting an impactful story. With this formula in hand, you're ready to captivate your audience, leaving them not just entertained, but deeply moved and inspired. If you found this helpful, please click the like button below. Leave a comment, share your thoughts on the best story you've ever heard. And if you've got a story you'd like to share, hit the submit button. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you never miss an episode of Storytime. Also, I invite you to join our free storytelling server. It's a community of storytellers just like you, where we share resources, tell stories, and encourage each other. The link to the server is in the description. Now, before we wrap up, let me ask you that final thought-provoking question. Has a story ever changed how you see the world? Go ahead and share your story in the comments. We might even feature it in a future episode of Storytime. That's it for today's episode of Storytime. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, keep telling your story and making a difference. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to check out this one. It's on another important aspect of storytelling. I'll see you there.